Every day, millions of Americans race down highways at 75 miles per hour, switching lanes, passing, trusting their roads. American highways look safe, wide, comfortable, modern. But here's what Americans aren't told. Their roads aren't the gold standard, not even close. Europe built the safest highways in the world. And they're not just better, they're 200% safer. That's not an accident. That's engineering. But here's the strange part. European roads are often narrower than American ones. Some have no speed limits. So how is that possible? And what makes European highways so uniquely safe? To understand this, we need to go back to where it all started, into the ruins of the war.
1945.
America emerges from war victorious. The economy explodes with growth. Highways stretched across the entire continent. New York to California, 41,000 miles of asphalt. Cars became the center of life. 2 cars in every garage. This was the American dream on wheels. But nobody thought about the consequences. Wide roads, big cars, high speeds. Comfort lulled them. Drivers lost vigilance. Speed crept up unnoticed. And roads, too wide for safety, became high-speed traps. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the picture was very different. Europe was in ruins, but under the rubble, a rare opportunity was hiding. World War II destroyed Europe. Bomb craters tore through roads. Entire transport networks lay in ruins. Paris, Berlin, London, Warsaw. Cities built over centuries, erased in mere years. But engineers saw more than just a problem. They saw an opportunity. Before the war, European roads were chaos, narrow, unpredictable, built for carriages, not cars. Cars, trams, pedestrians, cyclists, all sharing one space. By the late 30s, the problem reached a breaking point. Britain alone recorded 8,000 deaths in a single year. And now, with a blank slate, Europe had the chance to build not what was lost, but what had long been broken. Sweden has taken the first step, and that changed everything.
1944.
Sweden becomes the first country to establish a national road safety board. Their philosophy was radical. No road death is acceptable. Zero. Vision, zero. America said, drivers must be more careful. Sweden answered, roads must be safer. Other countries saw the results. Germany, Netherlands, France. One by one, they followed. By the end of the 20th century, every major European nation had pulled ahead of the US in road safety. But they didn't stop there. From 2001 to 2017, road deaths were cut by more than half. Europe became the safest continent to drive in. But how exactly did they do it? It all started with the most fundamental element: the design of the roads themselves.
American roads are built for comfort.
Lanes are wide, 11 feet, everything open, spacious. At first glance, that sounds good, but this comfort hides a deadly problem. Wide lanes lower tension. Roads feel safe, and drivers speed up without noticing. European engineers saw this pattern and made a simple but genius move. Instead of making roads more spacious, they made them tighter, 9 feet instead of 11. That extra squeeze forces drivers to stay alert, leading to fewer high-speed crashes. But this raises an obvious question. What about the Autobahn? No speed limit, yet still safe? The answer lies in how they are built. The Autobahn is not just a road. This is a work of engineering art.
The Autobahn isn't like a normal road.
It's a surgically precise system engineered for high-speed control. Lanes here are wider, 12 feet. Curves are stretched. Everything calculated for stability, even at 125 miles per hour. But even with this design, high speed still brings high risk. Fast vehicles in the same space, a recipe for disaster. And the Autobahn has one simple rule that changes everything. Keep right unless passing. It's simple but powerful. Slow vehicles right, left lane passing only. Traffic becomes predictable. And that predictability is what prevents collisions. Even when cars are speeding at 125 miles per hour. But none of this works if the road isn't in perfect condition. At these speeds, even a small crack is a serious hazard.
In the US,
Road maintenance focuses on short-term fixes. Cracks appear, they're patched. Potholes form, they're filled. Over time, these band-aid fixes turn into stitched-together surfaces, full of dips and gaps. The cycle is endless. Patch breaks down, new pothole forms, new patch, year after year. In Europe, the mindset is different. Roads are treated as long-term infrastructure, built to survive decades of wear. Materials like stone mastic and porous asphalt do more than hold up. They drain water and resist erosion. And instead of waiting for damage, many countries build maintenance into the schedule from day one. And some cities went even further. Amsterdam replaced concrete with modular tiles. In Europe, road design begins with a simple truth. People come first, not drivers, cyclists and pedestrians. In the US, cycling isn't dangerous because of how people ride. It's dangerous because of how roads are built. Bike lanes are often just a stripe of paint, pinned between moving traffic and turning cars. And they disappear right where the risk is highest, at intersections, where most crashes happen. The consequences show up in the numbers. In 2010, the US recorded 4.7 cyclist deaths per 100 million kilometers. The Netherlands recorded 1.0. The difference isn't culture, it's geometry. The Dutch understood that risk decades ago and redesigned the intersection from the ground up. Dutch engineers did something genius, extended the corner curb, using the existing curve to create space. That one shift allows the bike path to continue straight through the intersection without needing extra room. Visual cues make everything clear. Red surface highlights the bike lane. Painted lines mark the crossing point. The pedestrian crosswalk shifts just behind the bike lane, giving each group their own safe space. Even drivers are repositioned. The stop line moves back a few feet, so turning cars can see cyclists directly ahead, not in their blind spot. Even left turns, often the riskiest part, are simplified. Cyclists follow a clear, two-part path. But infrastructure is only half the story. The other half is the drivers themselves. In the US, getting a license is quick and easy, many taught by parents, short written test and basic road exam. And once the test is passed, that's it, full driving privileges. No additional training. Across Europe, this process looks very different. Many countries set driving age at 18, and it's not cheap. Average cost ranges from $1,500 to $2,000. Following a strict learning program, in Germany, drivers must complete 14 hours of classroom instruction and 12 hours behind the wheel. And even after earning a license, drivers are still under watch. Get caught breaking rules, you might start the entire process over again. In the US, traffic enforcement is inconsistent. Penalties vary state to state. Even serious offenses often come with low fines or just a warning. That inconsistency makes consequences feel optional. When enforcement depends on getting caught, many take the risk. Europe went with a different approach. Enforcement is built into the road system itself. Speed cameras, red light cameras, violations are tracked automatically. No debate, no delay. Fine shows up in your mailbox with photographic proof. and those fines hit harder. In Norway, using a phone behind the wheel can cost nearly €900. In France, drunk driving carries a penalty of up to €4,500 before you even step into a courtroom. In Europe, the limit is 0.05. In the US, it's 0.08, 60% higher.
And Europe roundabouts
Are the rule, not the exception. France and the UK use them as standard intersections, and the results speak for themselves. By forcing slower, more predictable flow, roundabouts dramatically reduce crash fatalities by 90%. So why hasn't the US embraced them? Well, actually, they tried. Early American traffic circles weren't built for safety, they were built for speed. Entry points were wide, lanes overlapped. Drivers often had to switch lanes inside the circle. Crashes were common. The concept gained a bad reputation. But here's the thing, those weren't modern roundabouts. The design was entirely different. But that mindset is starting to shift. In Carmel, Indiana, nearly every signalized intersection was replaced with a roundabout. Injury crashes dropped 80%. In Europe, roads don't just move people, they move through history. Many roads still follow ancient Roman routes, weaving past medieval towns and centuries-old landmarks. Infrastructure isn't built in place of heritage, it's built around it. History treated as a constraint, not a casualty. This isn't just good planning, it reflects how deeply heritage is woven into culture. More than 80% of Europeans consider cultural preservation part of their national identity. So when new projects are proposed, planners don't just ask, can it be built? They ask, should it? That's exactly what happened in Romania. A Canadian company proposed a gold mine that would destroy ancient Roman tunnels. The public responded immediately.
Hawaii's H3 freeway
Was built straight through native Hawaiian land, cutting across sacred valleys, burial grounds, and ancient temples. For many, it wasn't just a highway. It was a decision made without them that left their history displaced and their voices dismissed. Europe's approach isn't just more careful, it's more respectful. Because when infrastructure honors what came before, it builds more than roads, it builds trust. And that trust doesn't slow down innovation. In the same places that protect ancient streets, engineers are building the future. Europe isn't just focused on making roads safer, it's rethinking what roads can do. In the Netherlands, a pilot began with a simple bike path. But beneath the surface, photovoltaic panels quietly generated electricity
The panels are skid-resistant
and built to withstand daily traffic. After early success, the project expanded into France and beyond. While one project works with sunlight, another tackles a different challenge: maintenance. The Omicron project develops robotic platforms, automating high-risk roadwork. Operators control them remotely through virtual reality. The technology has passed field tests and is being written into European standards. But no matter what roads look like in the future, engineers will keep asking the same question: how can we make roads even safer? See you soon.